Hello, and welcome to
Papi Approved Movies.
My name is Papi.
And I'm Natalie.
In our podcast, we will review and critique my favorite PG-13 movies.
Movies that I wasn't allowed to watch until I turned 13.
Every week, Natalie and I will watch a new PG-13 movie.
And I'll see if Papi's movies live up to the hype.
Which, of course, they will.
Today we're going to be watching The Devil Wears Prada.
Before we begin, there will be spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie and don't want it to be spoiled,
press pause and come back when you're finished. Now, Papi, tell me the deets on this movie.
Okay. The Devil Wears Prada came out in 2006 with a runtime of 1 hour and 49 minutes. It's not streaming anywhere. Once again, Tio Isel saves the day and let us borrow it.
With his huge collection
of DVDs.
DVDs.
It was written by Aline Brosh McKenna and Lauren Weisberger, and directed by David Frankel. The main stars are Anne Hathaway, Meryl Streep, and Adrienne Grenier. Fun fact, Meryl Streep's character is inspired by a real editor of Vogue magazine, Anna Wintour. The designers were so afraid of her, most of them didn't allow their clothes to be in the movie, or even talk to the writers who asked them for help to make the movie more authentic. Even some locations wouldn't allow filming to avoid her anger. So this lady was like severely hardcore. I don't know, maybe she's still alive, I don't know.
Maybe.
Only like one supermodel was in it, but other than that, like no other models were in it because they were all afraid of this one editor of Vogue magazine.
Then why would she allow them to make a movie somewhat centered around her?
Well, they did it. They didn't ask for permission. They just made the movie.
Oh.
Right. It's based on her, but it's not about her. They didn't use her name or anything like that.
Yeah.
I heard then one thing that someone said that she did watch it and that she liked it. Like
that's
she
so
enjoyed
funny.
It. Or her daughter said, like, they got it right. Like, so this lady is exactly like Meryl Streep's character in this movie, which we find out is pretty terrible. She's a pretty terrible person. All right. So what do you think, Nat?
Well, I didn't really like this movie very much.
Okay.
There's one, theme that's not very big, but, still annoying me, and is the whole, losing weight thing, sure. Which I thought, I was watching it, and I was like, it would be okay, because they're, making a point to say, oh, this is bad, and, the main character, Andy, was like, oh my gosh, she was kind of judging everyone for this, and, sure. Kind of being maybe they shouldn't do this because it's unhealthy. But then later on in the movie, she even tells someone, oh yeah, I lost weight, and they celebrate it, and it's kind of a big thing, even though it's more of a sad moment, I feel like.
In the beginning, one of her nicknames is 6, and 6 is her size, the size of her clothing. It's a size 6.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I remember the perfect size 6. That was the saying. You're a perfect size 6, which there is no perfect, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's their own body and everybody should be fine with it. But I guess the supermodels are not allowed to be 6s. They have to be even skinnier than that.
There was one comment in particular, which I would bring it up later, but I'm just going to bring it up now because we're kind of already on the topic, where Andy asked, do any of these girls eat anything? And then Nigel said, not since 2 became the new 4. And 0 became the new 2.
Yeah, so imagine a 0. You must be 80 pounds.
Yeah, I'm a 0 and I'm a literal child.
Yeah. Anyway, the actress, Anne Hathaway, was a size 6 at the beginning of the movie. And then she lost weight throughout the movie and became a size 4 at the end as well. So I guess if you notice that she lost some weight during the movie. And I wonder if she did that to match the role or to,
But even so, I feel the industry itself shouldn't be forcing her to lose weight just to fit in a role.
They also said, I don't know if I have any clothes for a size 6 because all the designers are making it for size 4 too. And I don't know if this is still true, but when we went dress shopping, Mom went dress shopping for her wedding dress. Wedding dresses are made for people who are 5'8". So that's pretty tall for a woman, 5'8", right? Supermodels are 5'8", 5'9", 6 feet.
Why wouldn't they make it the
No, because that's who the models are. The models are these tall people. So these dresses have to be tailored to anybody who's normal human height, Yeah. I mean, who knows what the percentage of women who are 5'8" or taller. But I'm saying I remember that is the case because the model who wore that dress originally
is a supermodel.
Is super tall and then mom, who's a normal perfect woman with perfect height.
Yeah.
It's half of it is on the floor.
Yeah. It doesn't really make sense. But yeah, I thought that was like kind of, I was seeing where it was going and I wasn't like judging it too harshly because I thought like the main character herself was kind of like, oh, I eat, I'm happy, I'm a size 6. Like, right. It's great. Which is not even like a huge size anyways.
Right, it's tiny.
Like you said, people would say that's the perfect size.
Right. Back in the day, that's what like
that was
models.
The standard, right?
Yeah.
But like, I thought she didn't stay true to her character. And she like kind of wavered. Even when she was going back to her old self, she had still lost the weight.
You don't see her eat. You do wonder, does she eat? In the beginning.
You see her eating.
You see like her boyfriend like makes grilled cheese sandwiches for her, right?
Yeah.
And then later on, I don't think we see her eat any other time after that.
After she starts kind of getting shamed. That was kind of like a sad theme, I thought.
Yeah. All right, so what do you rate it?
I give it a 2 stars.
Ooh, bruh. 2 stars. You didn't like the storyline at all? You didn't like the characters?
No, I thought some of the characters were pretty unlikable.
Yeah.
And the main character was not exactly a strong woman.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying.
Anyways, why don't we get into the recap?
Okay. Movie begins with Andy getting dressed for her first day as an assistant to the fashion magazine runway. Andy gets to work and meets Emily, who is Miranda Priestley's first assistant. Andy will be Miranda's second assistant. Emily begins with insulting Andy's clothing. The staff begins to get ready for Miranda's arrival by changing shoes and cleaning up. There's a sense of fear and anxiety. When people see Miranda, they walk the other way. Andy is looking on in disbelief. Before just now, she had never even heard of her. My favorite part is when that one lady got in the elevator.
Uh-huh.
And then she got in the elevator and then...
She got off the elevator.
And she apologized.
Yeah.
Like, she apologized for existing. You know? That's one way to make an evil villain right off the bat, right?
You think that you can, like, imagine a scene before where she's yelling at someone for standing in an elevator with her.
But, you know, she doesn't even yell at anyone.
She just has that demeanor.
Yeah, and she just passive-aggressively just attacks and harps on you.
Yeah.
Emily wants to fire Andy, but Miranda decides to interview her. Andy wants to be a journalist and sees his job as a stepping stone to be a real journalist, in quotations. She cares nothing about fashion and kind of looks down on it. And Miranda hires her.
How come she was an assistant instead of like journaling for this magazine? I guess it's a really big magazine, but like, why wouldn't she be in a different area of the company? That's
a good question. I do wonder if that's like, you know, like you have to pay your dues. Like you go in there, you're an assistant to an editor, you learn the way it goes, and then you get a job.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
And she would have never got a journalist job there. She has no experience.
That's true.
Although now, if she wanted to be like a journalist at another magazine, I bet you she could get it because she worked there and worked under her for a while.
Yeah, but I thought it was just kind of random how like that's where they put her when she got a job there.
Yeah. That night, Andy talks to her boyfriend Nate and her friends Doug and Lily about the experience. Nate is studying to be a chef. Doug, who seems to know a lot about fashion, tells her Miranda is a huge deal. Work begins, and Emily wakes Andy up to tell her to bring in some coffee. Emily's like Miranda, very rude and pushy. Emily talks about the importance of the book, which is a mock-up of this month's issue.
It kind of makes sense how Emily kind of gets along with Miranda. No, they don't really get along, but you know, she's not fired like all the other people yet because they have somewhat of similar personality.
And she likes her job and that's what she wants to do, so I wonder what she wants to do. You think Emily wants to be an assistant forever?
I think she just wants to be a model.
No. I mean, she's beautiful like a model, but I don't think that's what she's doing it for. I think maybe like behind the scenes, like a creative director or like a Nigel position or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just thought that she was like a girl who really loved the fashion in the whole like industry of that scene, I guess.
And he meets Nigel, the creative director. He's very rude and calls her fat all the time. He calls her a 6 because that's the size of her clothing. He brings her some high heels to wear, and she says no thank you. But then she eventually puts them on after Maria gives a disappointed nod to her current shoes. So like Miranda's not yelling, She just looked at her shoes and kind of went, kind of like that, like looked down on it.
Uh-huh.
And then that's when she decided to put the shoes on. See, that's her role was like that. It wasn't like yelling at people.
Yeah, she just like disapproves of people and then they just feel that deeply.
Yeah, right.
I guess that's like with everything though, that everyone kind of feels like someone's wanting to judge them or watch them all the time. Like someone will be having like a bad hair day and then they'll be like, oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing, when like most people wouldn't even notice.
Yeah, that's funny. Miranda's a dictator about everything. She's very judgmental and passive aggressive. Next, we see a work montage where Andy struggles at first, but eventually gets the hang of it. Andy goes to dinner with her dad. He's giving her money because her job pays very little. That's the one thing that kind of surprised me. Like, they don't get much.
Even though it's like a huge company.
And it's torture. People stay at work for a couple of reasons. A, they like it. Or B, they just pay you so much that you deal with the part you don't like.
Yeah.
But she's not even getting paid so much. She doesn't make a living wage because her dad's helping her out. It's funny. I would have expected she would have made more at least.
Yeah, and especially since like she's kind of close to like the main editor of the whole thing.
Then she gets a call from Miranda that her flight was canceled because of a storm. Miranda tells her that it's her job to fix the problem. Her night with her father is ruined when she spends all night trying to get Miranda a flight. I mean, they were going to a show. Do you think she actually went to the show?
No.
Yeah, I think she probably stayed outside while the dad watched it by himself.
Yeah. I think that's also like a thing in movies and stuff to like show it's like a toxic workplace, that they're like working still even after they've like left the office.
Yeah. At work, Miranda lets her have it. Miranda calls her fat and throws on the guilt. She gets upset and goes to Nigel, who doesn't want to hear it. He says she's not trying hard enough. He feels that she mocks the industry. And he gets the grand idea of a makeover. Your favorite movie trope, right, Natalie?
Mm.
Nigel helps with getting her very stylish clothing and a visit to the beauty salon for makeup and a new hairstyle. She comes to work all made up, and Emily and Miranda notice.
Although I think it's really funny that like she has to go to a place for makeup and then every other day she's doing her own makeup like a pro.
Yeah. Something about her makeup, from what I read, something, that her eyeliner or eyeshadow, she like barely wears any.
Uh-huh.
And then throughout the movie, as she gets deeper and deeper into it,
uh-huh.
It gets really, really dark and thick. And then at the end of the movie, it's pretty much gone again. Like,
really?
So it's kind of like, her
progression.
Her progression goes with her eye makeup.
It was kind of like the progression in Mean Girls, like through the earrings.
Oh, yeah.
How,
and the makeup too, right?
Yeah. How like eventually Katie started wearing hoop earrings, which was Regina's thing, and like getting more makeup and all that stuff in the outfits. So it's kind of like a similar Easter egg.
At another friend's dinner, Andy brings everyone gifts. She's starting to drink the Kool-Aid for Runway magazine. Then she gets a call from Miranda and leaves. She needs to get some sketches from a designer named James Holt. At Holt's house, there's a party going on, and she meets Christian, a writer that Andy admires. He says that she won't survive Miranda. So there's the hookup right there, I guess. See, that's the reason why. She meets this Christian guy, right?
Uh-huh.
I mean, he wants to sleep with her, but like,
yeah.
He's a hookup that possibly she could work with him.
There's a connection.
There's the networking right there.
And later on we see that he's like, oh, this famous editor's in the building. Do you want to go in and meet him? Right. So she could have gotten like a huge connection.
She could have, yeah. So, I mean, I think that's what she was thinking about working there, you know what I mean? And he starts getting better at her job and is promoted to handle the book. Emily tells her that when she delivers the book, she needs to be invisible when she drops it off. That night when she has to drop off the book, she's confused. Miranda's twin daughters tell her to come up just to mess with her. And he does, and overhears an argument between Miranda and her husband. Miranda sees her and gives her a death glare.
I don't know why she listened to the children. Because she was told specifically to only do these things.
Yeah, do not go upstairs.
Yeah, and then she still followed like two conniving children.
There was a couple
that were like laughing at her.
Yeah, exactly. And they were giggling to each other, right?
Yeah.
You're like, yes. The next day, Miranda's so furious, she gives Andy an impossible task. If she does not get an advanced copy of Harry Potter 7, she will be fired. After a day of epic fails, Andy calls Christian. He saves the day. Andy comes in and drops the book on Miranda's desk. On Nate's birthday, Emily gets sick, so Andy has to go to the benefit to help Miranda. She's great at helping, and Miranda's very happy with her. Andy misses Nate's birthday party, and he is sad. She says, "Are you mad because I didn't come to the birthday party?" And he's like, "I'm not 4. I'd be like, what are you talking about? I'd be mad if you didn't come to my birthday party. I'd be furious.
Like, you're my girlfriend. You should, like, come to things that are somewhat important."
He wasn't even upset about it. I'd be furious. Mom would be done. Cut Mom out.
I'd be really sad.
Yeah. Miranda's so impressed with Andy that she tells her that she's going to take Emily's place and go to Paris for Fashion Week. Andy feels bad, but Miranda says if you don't do it, you're not serious about your job. Andy agrees to go and tells Emily. Sadly, Emily's hit by a car when she tells her, and it's furious in Andy. Poor Emily, she gets hit by a car.
And she doesn't get to go to this thing which she's been starving herself for weeks and wanting to go to.
Right, because she gets free clothing, right? Later, Nate and Andy get into an argument. She says he doesn't recognize her anymore and that they need a break. She wants to give it another shot, doesn't want to break up. And right then Miranda calls. She takes the call and Nate walks away sadly.
I don't think she needed to take the call. I think she could have called Miranda back in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, I was in the bathroom or something.
Yeah. I was pooping. Sorry.
There you go. In Paris, Fashion Week is great. Nigel's excited to tell Andy that he's going to be the CEO of James Holt's new fashion business. That night, Andy goes to dinner with Christian. It becomes romantic, and they hook up. Inappropriate!
I don't think that she should have done that. Because they kind of broke up, but they kind of didn't. Because they were on a break.
Yeah. You know, they made that break just so that way she can do this and get away with it and not look like a total villain.
Yeah.
But still, I think she was villainous.
Yeah, and she just broke up with her boyfriend.
Yeah.
And I do think that Christian, he was never like respecting of her or like her boyfriend at all.
Nah.
He was always just a terrible person, and she like didn't care.
I don't know if
she should have like seen that.
He just knew what he wanted.
But he didn't really respect her boundaries or like him at all.
The next morning, Christian tells her that Miranda's getting fired and replaced by Jacqueline, the editor of Runway in France.
Jacqueline!
Andy runs to tell Miranda. Miranda shoos her away. Yeah, I wrote shoes, as in shoes like on your feet, as opposed to shooing away a fly. When Andy finally tells Miranda what she heard from Christian, she ignores her. Then at a reception for James Holt's new business, Miranda tells everyone that Jacqueline will be Holt's new CEO.
And Miranda's always hated Jacqueline, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Nigel was blindsided and devastated. So that was the job that Nigel was going to get. He was so excited about it.
And she backstabbed him.
She backstabbed him and gave it to Jacqueline so that way she can keep her job, saving herself. And he's real sad about how Nigel was treated. Because
he didn't deserve that. He's always been, like, helping her. And she doesn't hate him.
No, she doesn't hate him. Oh, Miranda?
Miranda.
No, not at all. She, that's her guy, right?
Exactly. And she still managed to do something so terrible that he did not deserve.
Right. Losing tons of money. Miranda says that she sees herself in Andy. And Andy gets upset and realizes what she did to Emily is similar to what Miranda did to Nigel. And Andy realizes it and walks away. Back in New York, Andy apologizes to Nate, hoping they can get back together. He has a new job in Boston and invites her to come. She goes on an interview and finds out that Miranda gave her a good recommendation, with some insults intertwined. Then as Andy walks home, she runs into Miranda. Andy waves, and Miranda ignores her. That's part of the movie right there. You would think that she'd be after a while, kind of at least acknowledge, but she acted like she didn't see her. But once she's inside the car, she smiles. The end. Alright. Could this movie still be made today?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so? Alright, tell me about it.
Okay, I have a list.
Oh my, a list.
There's a lot of body shaming, obviously, which we talked about before.
Right.
And so I wrote down a lot of quotes.
Okay, a lot of body shaming quotes.
So one of them was by Miranda, and she says, "Is it really that hard to find a beautiful, slender woman?" Which is kind of saying that to be beautiful, you need to be a slender woman.
Right. And this is way before the plus models.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is before. Now we have plus models and things like. Although even the name plus, right? Like, could they just be normal models? Like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They have a category of because they are heavier or bigger sizes than regular in quotation.
Yeah, you wouldn't
models.
say malnourished models.
Yeah, you got the skinny models or the.
You would say the beautiful slender models or
Right.
the
Or
tall
just,
or just models.
Just models, exactly. There's no adjective to it as opposed to the word plus. That's a good point. Even in the industry now, look at that. All right, what else you got?
We found a flaw in the patriarchy.
Yeah, the patriarchy once again. All right, what else?
Emily's diet for Paris, which I only mentioned once, which Emily said, I'm on this new diet for Paris where I don't eat, and when I feel like I'm gonna faint, I eat a cube of cheese.
Yeah, I saw that. When I heard that line, I was like, that's gonna hone in on that one. Yeah, how unhealthy is that, right?
Yeah. First of all, she's probably doing something mentally bad with like food and her relationship with food. And then she's starving herself. Her body's literally warning her by saying like, oh, I'm gonna faint right now. You need to feed me. You need to nourish me. And she's still like, she's blind to the fact that she's hurting herself just because like she wants to fit this standard.
Yeah. All right. What else?
The whole Andy turning into a size 4 and not like staying true to her word. I'd say that even when she got her makeover, when she was talking to Emily when they went to that show, that Emily told her about her diet and she's like, oh my gosh, like she saw like, oh, this is terrible. And she's like, oh, maybe you shouldn't do that. But then she still lost weight herself.
Well, she might have done it. I don't know if she did it the right way. Because you go from a 6 to a 4. I don't know.
It's kind of a drastic change.
Yeah. Well,
I would say.
I'm just saying, how do you lose? Like, if you only weigh so little, how would you lose weight? Like, I don't know.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? You just, I don't know what you could do. Even exercising, you wouldn't lose weight because you're just going to build muscle. I don't know. But I guess maybe just salads all the time. Like I said, you never see her eating. So. Yeah.
And then, I'm going to talk about Christian. And
Christian, all right. My favorite character in the movie.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
When they were in Paris and Christian went drinking with Andy, and then Andy told him, I've had too much wine and I can't make decisions, and he continues to kiss her and take her home to his hotel room.
Sure. I can see that. Yeah, definitely.
And she tells him multiple times, and then when he eventually stops listening to her, she's like, oh, I've run out of excuses. When she was making excuses in the first place. And one of them was about how she can't be logical because she's drunk and she's under the influence.
Yeah, that's a great point. That is a great point. And if she wasn't drunk, maybe she wouldn't have slept with him, right?
Exactly. Because she said, I can't rationalize right now. She made that clear to him and he still took advantage of her.
Let's take it one step deeper into the darkness. Do you think that's sexual assault?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. You want to know something really sad?
Yeah.
But I think this tactic has been used by men forever. For generations. I know personally, through experiences of life, that that's what men do. They want to get the girls, they get their buzz on to make them be a little bit more amiable to maybe hooking up.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, no, and definitely I think it's wrong, right? Because you're altering someone's state just so that way you can get what you want from them.
And I think it was unnecessary to be put in the movie.
No, you know what, though? I'm not kidding. This is the reality of the world, though.
Do you think so?
No, I do. I sadly do. That's why we talk about drinking in general with you girls, and then we say how men are going to try to give you drinks. How it happens. Can I buy you a drink? That's the men's move, right? That's the opening line of trying to get to someone to be with you. Yeah, because if I can buy you enough drinks, and eventually you're going to be like, yeah, he's cute enough. You know what?
Exactly.
So you have to be careful because that is the devious move that's going on forever. And of course, I'm not out in the clubs or at the bars, but I bet you $1 million it still happens.
Yeah, I thought that this was kind of a part in the movie, though, where they were trying to make Andy look bad. And they're trying to make her look bad by being like, oh, she's with this guy now. When she did become with this guy, she was like a little not as much herself as she could have been to make that point in the movie.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Obviously, I know you think it's sexual assault, and I think maybe you're right.
Yeah.
But she drank the wine with him. She went out to dinner with him. Right?
That's true.
Even if she didn't sleep with him, she's cheating on Nate.
Yeah, no matter what, she's cheating
Yeah.
with him.
And so I think she was bad in general.
Uh-huh.
Maybe the drinking was an unnecessary thing because he could have
And
just
I don't
made
know
her...
if this was also to make Christian's character look bad as well.
No, but see, I don't see Christian as the bad guy in this.
When I think that he should be seen as the bad guy a little.
Because of what that happens.
That's kind of
Yeah, okay.
one of the points.
Right. I see that. I would say that if most people saw this movie without having the lens that you have on, they would see no problem with what he did.
Really?
Very tiny percentage of people.
That's kind of awful.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Alcohol's... Yeah, what is it? The demon's whiskey or whatever. What is it? What do you guys call it?
No, that's weed. We say that. I always say the devil's lettuce.
The devil's lettuce. What is it? So alcohol should be like the devil's water or something like that.
It should be.
I'm telling you, it's the dangers of it are going to outnumber the joys by one. Here I am as a dad who's had experiences in life with alcohol, and you're going to have your own. But I'll be honest with you, this is the reality of what the world looks like. Maybe it's different now.
I hope so.
I hope so too, but I wouldn't put any money on it. Not even a penny. I wouldn't. So, all right. Anything else?
I want to ask you, did you think that was like a scene that I would mention?
No. I noticed that she said that she had drank too much. And I thought, well, yeah, I could see that that's an issue. I wouldn't have thought that you would have thought it was sexual assault. I would also thought that you would have been upset with her about what she did. Because you really vilified Christian in this situation.
Uh-huh.
And most men, I think, would vilify her.
Well, she's already getting vilified. I already think that she was a bad person for cheating on her. But I think that maybe she doesn't deserve complete blame.
Right. Okay.
Because she did cheat on him. Obviously, she went to dinner with him. And
right.
She ended up sleeping with him. But I do think that some of it was out of her control.
Anything else before we move on to the Bechdel test?
Nope.
All right. The Bechdel test is a test to check for female representation in movies. 3 criteria. Criteria number 1, are there 2 named females?
Yep. There is Andy. There's Emily. There's main lady. Miranda. And then there's other women, I'm sure.
Lily, her friend.
Yeah. But the main people, they were pretty big in the story.
Right.
So.
The 2 main characters are female, right?
Yeah.
Criteria number 2, do they talk to each other?
Yeah. They talk. Obviously, she talks to her boss. She's literally the assistant. And then she has her coworker, who is a woman, Emily. And then her friend, who she obviously goes out with and talks to.
Criteria number 3, do they talk to each other about anything other than a man?
Yes, I think so. Well, I know so. I think this movie clearly passes the Bechdel test.
Yeah.
If you want a specific, because I know they talk a lot about fashion and stuff, but for a specific in this movie, which is kind of sad specific, but it's just off the top of my head, is when Emily is talking about her new diet to her, and they're just talking about Paris and how she's gonna have so much fun and how there's free clothing there, and they just talk about Paris in general to each other.
So it does pass the Bechdel test.
I'm kind of confused about one thing, which is kind of shocking to me, is that I don't think it passes the reverse Bechdel test.
Oh, well, there's a Doug friend and Nate. They were at the bar together. They were at the restaurant together.
Yeah. So
I don't know if they did talk about anything. Wow. Are you trying to fight the matriarchy now? Is that what you're saying?
No.
No. Back to the patriarchy, right?
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
No.
Thank you for tuning in to Papi Approved Movies.
If you like this episode, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on your favorite podcast app.
We put out an episode every Monday.
If you'd like to see more podcast content, go follow our TikTok at Papi Approved Movies.
If you want to suggest a movie for us to watch and critique,
email us at papiapprovedmovies@gmail.com.
That's papiapprovedmovies@gmail.com. No spaces, no caps.
We'll try our best to get to your suggestion.
And remember, it has to be PG-13.
Next week, we're watching Rush Hour, so I hope you join us.
I'm Papi.
And I'm Natalie.
See you next time.
Bye!